Hey guys, welcome back to the shop for another round of SNS. So this week we're on SNS 151, and I think I got enough content that we're going to split this into 2 episodes. Got quite a bit of stuff out there that I've been filming to share with you this week, and we've also got some viewer mail that's come in. We got some tools and some gifts, really neat stuff I'd like to share with you. And there's been some stuff going on at work that I've been filming down there and taking some video of. So we've been doing, I did a project using a 21-inch Rotary Table, one that I had purchased from James Kilroy a couple years ago, and I had to make some spacers, and I didn't have my camera, the GoPro with me. All I had was my phone. So I took a series of pictures along the way, and I took a few clips with the phone. I'm going to try to throw that into this episode and kind of talk you through it. I'll do some voiceover with the mic and just kind of talk you through what I'm doing, but it would have been a good project to show on video there, but maybe another one will come down the road. So we got that, and I did some work over here on the gearbox shaft that I've done here in the shop. I wanted to finish out the keys, make the keys for the keyways. I took some video of that. I got a new tool from Edge that I wanted to try out, so we got that thrown in the mix there too. And I don't really remember everything else that I got. I've been taking some video, so there might be a couple other little snidbits of just some stuff going on here and there that I might talk about. So we'll see. But there's a couple of things that I want to bring up before we get into our other footage. And the first one is, last week I shared a link in my video description down below for my brother. It's a GoFundMe account. I shared that last week, and I didn't mention anything about it. I just shared the link. And there's been a very high number of generous people out there. Really, it's really overwhelming, should I say, the generosity that people have. And this is a campaign that I started for my brother. He's had health issues for about 5 years, and he's trying to get down to South Florida to see another set of specialists down there. They keep bouncing around the different doctors. His case is pretty severe, and I think they're trying to get him to the right doctor. So that's what's going on there. And we've been, as a family, we've been helping Kevin out the best we can. Even when my dad was still around, he was helping Kevin out. And this is just, you know, everybody that's been through medical expenses knows how costly it can be. Travel expenses, when you're trying to travel with a couple of people and you're having to stay overnight, you know, if you they were talking about maybe trying to fly down there, but that was just going to be way too expensive, so they're going to drive down there. But anyway, what I was getting at was, thank you everybody that's been stepping up and making a little contribution to that. It's no way, in any way, shape, or form, expected of anybody that I share it with. It's just it's completely voluntary. So I want everybody to know that it's just a voluntary thing. But we do really appreciate, as my entire family really appreciates what everybody has been doing with that campaign. So I did shoot a little video last night. We met up as a family for my dad's birthday. Yesterday was my dad's birthday, January the 11th, and we always like to get together and go have dinner in my dad's honor. Especially, we always go to a place that he always liked to go to. So we met up and we had dinner for my dad's birthday. He would have been 67 years old yesterday. And I brought my camera, and everybody wanted to kind of say a thank you on their behalf as well. So I'm going to put that little video together and try to post it over there on the GoFundMe site and share it with you guys over there. So anyway, that description will be down in the video, or that link will be in the video description down below if you care to check that out. All of the information is in there. My sister helped me write that out. All of the info is in there on what has happened to Kevin, what's been going on, and everything that the money would be used for, you know. So it's all there if you care to check that out. We appreciate it. All right. So another update to share with you, and this is something that I've been actually meaning to share with you for some time now, and I always forget to mention it. This time next week, next weekend, I'm going to be up there at Keith Rucker's shop up in Tifton, Georgia, attending a scraping class that's being held by Richard King. And I'm very excited about this. Scraping is something that I have never done. I've always enjoyed it. I've always liked seeing the pictures and the posts people put online of it, and it is something that I would like to learn. So this class is Introduction into Scraping. It's a 5-day course, and he's going to teach us the basics of scraping, and hopefully we'll learn a lot in that class, enough to where all of us can come home and start practicing on our own and get better at scraping. He did say that it takes quite a while to get good at scraping, about 5 years, before you really start mastering it. But it is something that I would like to learn, so I'm very excited about it. On top of that, there's going to be several other guys there, a few of them YouTube creators as well. John Saunders is going to be there, and James Kilroy is going to be there, and there's going to be a nice handful of other guys. It's sort of like a YouTube crowd that's coming together there. And I do plan on taking my cameras and getting some video, what I can. Richard does not like video being taken of the entire class because this is his business. This is what he does for a living. So we're not going to be taking video of the classroom part, but there's other videos out there on YouTube that other people have done with Richard that kind of goes over what people are working on, little projects and things like that. And so I do plan on getting some footage of where we can, especially when we're practicing on our projects, who all's there, and maybe a little bit of socializing. There's been talks of us doing a low country boil when I'm there, so we might get into a little shrimp boil while I'm there too. So, but I'm actually looking forward to it. I saved a week of my vacation from 2016. I carried 1 week of vacation over just for this class, so I'm using a week vacation to take a training class on scraping. But I'm very excited about it. It's a great opportunity. It's a dying trade, and it's something that I want to learn, and hopefully I can start applying it to myself, my projects, my machines around here in the future. So I look forward to it. So these are the projects that I picked out that I'm going to take down there. He says, a small project. You can't show up with this big giant piece of a machine down there. You gotta start off small in his training class. So we'll start on some parallels that he provides for us to practice on, and then we kind of move into our own projects, I believe. So this is a little angle plate that I've actually shown in video several times. It's a cast iron angle plate that belonged to my dad, and you can tell that it's been milled. It's got the pattern like a big fly cutter's been across it. So I do plan on taking that, and hopefully this will be my nice project that I can get completely 90 degrees on the sides and parallel and flat. So that's going to be the main project I work on. And if I have time, this is my small cast iron surface plate right here, and I have showed this in a video before. I did a video a while back where I was right here playing with some indicators and checking squareness and parallel, things like that. But this is another tool that comes from my shop. This belonged to my dad and my granddad. I have no idea what the make is on this, but it does seem to be a high quality item. It's very heavy, and I think it's still nice and flat, but I have no way to measure it to know. So I plan on taking this, and hopefully I can play with the surface plate a little bit, and even if I don't get all this scraped in, it's going to be a start to it, and I'll be able to continue it on my own here in the shop. So I need to make a couple handles for it. I now realize what these holes are. There's a hole in each side that's casted into this, and Richard, he even said, he says, make sure you drill it or you tap it or something for some handles. That way when you flip it over onto the granite plate to blue it, you have a way to pick it up. So I'm gonna make some handles to go in here so that we can pick this sucker up. So anyway, that's my two projects that I'll be taking up there to Keith, and I hope I have some fun video that I can share with you after next week anyway. So this right here is one of the viewer gifts that come in this week, and these were made, this entire thing was made and given to me by Mike Nixon. He's from Jackson, Michigan, and I had the honor to meet Mike in person last year at the John Saunders NYC CNC open house. Mike was there with his wife, and I got to chat with him, and I'm friends with him on Facebook, and he's been posting some videos. I think he just recently got a GoPro camera, and he's been taking a few videos, and he's got a little shop there at his house with a lathe and some equipment, And I noticed in his videos he was making these coasters right here. That's what these are, coasters. He's got the blue felt on the bottom and made out of aluminum. Let's see what size they are. So these are 3 1/4 OD, roughly 9/16 thick. And I want to get all the dirt from the wood on there. So he made this little rack that they go on also out of some aluminum hex bar. Looks like maybe 9/16. That might be metric, but got some aluminum hex bar. You can adjust this thing and kind of tighten it up as you need. And got a cool little fancy looking rack there for them all to stack in. But yeah, I had seen him. He had posted some videos of making some of this stuff, and I had no idea that I was one of the recipients to these cool gifts right here. I believe Razor Ray got him a set also. But anyway, Mike, thank you very much. These are great. I'm going to put these in the house and use them in there. And you did a great job. It's a nice looking work, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So speaking of John up there at NYC CNC, Saunders Machine Works, he sent me a little something too. So recently, I think it was over the holidays, he had went up to Massachusetts to visit with family for the holidays. I believe that's why he was up there. I didn't actually ask him that, but I know he's from that area. Or no, he's from Zanesville. I'm sorry. I know that he goes to that area. Maybe it's Yvonne's family that lived there. But anyway, they were up there, and he got to go tour the Starrett plant. And I was very jealous over that. But while he was there, he mentioned me, and he actually picked up these little decimal equivalent charts. I think he picked up a few, and he wanted to send me a couple of them. So very cool. These actually come straight from Starrett there. That's very nice. And he sent me a couple more of his stickers there. So thank you very much, John, for thinking about me. And I hope you enjoyed the videos I made for you on the little tapered shaft we did. So we got a few nice cutters that were sent in by another viewer, and these were sent in by Eric Hoffmeyer. He is from Burke, Virginia. So we've got a corner round end mill, and this is funny because this is something that we're going to be using in this episode coming up, doing some milling using a corner round end mill. So we'll talk about these here shortly. And this one is a half inch radius. So if you say you had a 1 inch wide key that you wanted to round the ends on, you could use this right here to cut each side of the key to make a nice round radius on the end. Or if you just need a half inch radius mill down something, that's what these are for. So excellent. We've also got a couple more old school milling cutters right here, and I love these boxes, man. Those are just awesome. I always loved the way they packed up their cutters way back in the day there. So this one is a stagger tooth side milling cutter. It's a 3 inch diameter, 3/16 face width with a 1 inch arbor hole. And it's still brand new. I can tell by the edge. It still has very sharp corners on it. It's never been used. That's just some cardboard on it. Very nice cutter. All right, so we got another stagger tooth. This one's 4 inch diameter, a 5/8 face width, and it's 1 1/4 arbor. Very nice. That one's got a chip in it that could have been from handling. This one may have been used, but it still feels very sharp. It's still a very good cutter. Very cool. I love these old cutters. That one's from National Twist Drill and Tool Company right there. All right, Eric, thank you very much for the tools. He says that he, in his letter, he sent these for some big boy cutters for the K&T mill. So hopefully whenever we get a chance, we'll use these over on the K&T for you. So this is the 21-inch Troik rotary table that I mentioned in the intro of the video. This is the one that I had picked up from James Kilroy a couple years back after I had bought the K&T mill, and we bought it there for work to use there at work. And it's a nice rotary table. Whenever James had bought it himself, it was still new. It was like a new old stock item, and he's taken well care of it. He only used it, I think, for 1 or 2 jobs, and he offered it to us, and we picked it up to use there. So there it is. I got her cleaned up, got the oil off of it, and get her set up. It's a 120-to-1 ratio. So every revolution on the dial there is 3 degrees, and that thing is just as smooth as silk. You can see how big it is on that table there. That's a 12.5-inch wide table. So this is the nylon that we had picked up. We got some nylon from McMaster Carr, and I bolted this piece of plywood down to the rotary table with some T-nuts to use as the substrate to kind of cut into, because I don't have an aluminum plate for it yet. And it worked out really good. I had to make some T-nuts, and I drilled the 2 pieces of nylon and screwed it all down to the plywood in a lot of different places so that I could cut the 2 rings out that I need. What I had to make is a couple of 1/4-inch spacers. So we got 2 sheets of the 1/4-inch nylon there. There I was making my first outer cuts and just kind of checking the diameter. We wanted to finish it at 17 and 15/16.
That's really nice.
So that was the first initial cut there, and I cut it 10/1000ths large on the OD, and I only went down about 2/3 of the thickness. And I made 1 pass around, and then decided to come on through and make a second cut there. And on this one, you can see we're actually getting into the plywood here. So we've got the outer diameter cut, but I've still got to trim it to size. I left it about 10/1000ths big. There's just some shots of the cut. I was really pleased. Everything looked really well. We used a brand new sharp 3/8 2 flute end mill to do that, by the way. There I'm using my Starrett vernier calipers to check it. And just a couple more shots. And you'll see we got 2 T-slots that we could use on the rotary table. So I put toe clamps on there, and that's where we're going to be starting and stopping our cuts for the rings. You can see right there where it's I actually started right there at the toe clamp. I had forgot to mention that after we had made that outer diameter cut, we measured it, and then we bumped it in at 10/1000ths and made another pass around the ring to bring it exactly to the size we wanted, which would be 18 inches on the OD. So here's my coworker Will. He's over there helping me out too, and he's doing a measurement on this ID, and this is the one that we have to make right off the bat there. Once we make it cut, it's cut. So that one's going to finish at, it was 15 and 15/16 is where it finishes at. So there's Will over there deburring it, and again we only cut down about 2/3 of the way through, so that we just cut the one off, and then we plunged back in there to cut the second one. But before we did that, we wanted to check it to make sure that the diameter would fit. And there it is on the actual, there's part of the piston that it's going to fit on, and it fit perfectly. That groove diameter is 15 and 15/16 OD right there, and then the OD of the piston is 18 inches. And we bumped in those sizes where that thing just kind of, it almost had to push it on, and it just fit perfect. All right, we just cut the first ring off, and it did good. We just fit it on the piston over there, and we left it a little shy, so I got to come through and make a second cut again. and cut the second ring off. It's been working out pretty good here. Starting and stopping your cut right there at a toe clamp helps eliminate any jumpiness or any grabbing going on once the cutter came all the way back around and cut through. Start and stop my cut right there by the toe clamp so that it doesn't leave that little tit on it when it's done. And this is the final couple pictures I took showing the last ring cut all the way through. I got to say it turned out good. I was a little nervous about it, but everything worked out and those rings were perfect. There's where the spacer goes we just made. It was behind the seal because we couldn't find the seal the right thickness. 1.25 inches. We could only get a 1-inch seal. So we had to make a 1/4 inch spacer behind it. That's part of it there. And then there's another, this is the other part of the piston here. So that's the other ring. You got another seal that goes there, and then all that bolts together as one big piston that pumps guts. I took this little clip here to show off another reason why I like having the Greenfield number 22 tap wrench there. That's a 1.5 inch 12 tap and a piston that I'm just chasing the threads because I'm making a hydraulic rod for the piston there. And most times we bead blast them, but sometimes they're still Loctite set in those threads, and it's easier to run a tap through there. And you can see using a tap wrench like that just makes it nice and elegant. That's the proper way to run a tap or a reamer, is using a tap wrench like that. So just cleaning the threads out, getting them clean to thread it onto a new hydraulic rod. And here's a real short clip of a little gearbox shaft that I was making one day out of a piece of 3-inch 4140. I believe that was a clip that I had taken for Instagram and shared over there. In this clip here, I was setting up this gear, and what I was really pointing out in this clip is the contact tip that I'm using, or the tip on the end of the indicator there. That's one of those flat tips from the Starrett. There's one of the little ring gauges like I shown last week. That's the one I have at work. And you see you got two different sizes of the flat tips. And those work good for situations just like this right here. You see when they manufacture that, they cut all the way across, and that's a bearing journal there. And I'm just indicating it true, and that flat tip works great for things like that. It bridges that gap and you can get a journal indicated in. And I'm just setting this up to do a very light polish on it to get it cleaned up. And that's what it looks like when it's cleaned up. Just polish the journal out, brighten it up some, make sure there ain't no high spots on it. And I thought I'd toss these pictures in here because they were so popular over there on Instagram and Facebook. So I got some pictures. This was a little plug gauge that I had machined the other day, and I was really surprised at the knurl and how well the knurl came out. I really surprised myself at how beautiful it was. So I took a few pictures of it and shared it on social media, and it just turned out great. Everything lined up right. I was correct on the diameter and had a nice feed rate set there. That is a real coarse knurl that I have. That's one of my own that I took in and used there. And that's as far as I took the knurl. I didn't try to make a point out of those diamonds, but it's a real nice coarse knurl. And here I am getting it turned into the diameter, getting ready to machine an undercut there for the threads up to the shoulder. And I'm using my thread triangles to measure the thread pitch and get it right where I want it. I'm trying to make it as close as I can to a proper fit. I ended up being 7/10 under what I wanted it to be, which will work fine for what I'm doing there. There it is, finished out. That's a 1 7/8 12 thread. And I like the knurl in there, just to gives you a little grip when you're checking it. There it is, threaded into the rod. I went ahead and faced it and chamfered it while it was in there. And one last picture, this is the rod and threaded. So I hope you guys enjoyed this SNS, and I'll see you real soon.